Right.
Moving everybody around.
But I don't know.
I'd like to call to order the Granville Exempted Village School District Board of Education meeting for March. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone to tonight's meeting, whether it be live or Zoom. Take the roll, please.
Mr. Wolf?
Here.
Ms. Shaw?
Here.
Ms. Deeds?
Here.
Mr. Cronk?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here. With the agenda, we have one correction. Susan Day is listed as the boys' middle school track, but it's actually girls.
Okay.
So moved as amended.
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Commendations?
Okay, tonight, we get to recognize the National Merit Scholar finalist, who is in the audience tonight. The National Merit Scholarship Program is an annual academic competition offered by the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. To enter the program and compete for the scholarships offered, high school students must take the PSAT and the NMSQT in October in order to meet the other program entry requirements. National Merit Scholars winners are chosen based on their skills, abilities, and accomplishments. Approximately 3.5 million students took the PSAT in 2024, and about 1.3 million of them will meet requirements to enter into the program. Competition for these scholarships is fierce, which is why earning a good PSAT score is so important. National Merit Scholarship finalists compete for scholarships that are awarded on a state representational basis to students who demonstrate exceptional academic achievements, strong personal qualities, exceptional leadership, defined goals, and other distinctive characteristics that set them apart as merit scholars. Alexander Zurwick, who is a Granville High School student, is our National Merit Scholarship finalist. Congratulations to you, Alex. Come on up.
Got it.
And let's take a picture for mom too. Here.
Thank you.
All right, congratulations. It is a very, very small population of students that get to that level. So we have a lot of very bright, academically oriented children in Granville. To get to that level is truly an accomplishment. So Alex, you should be very proud of yourself. Okay, next we have our Leaders for Learning Award, and we've been ghosted by the recipient, Mr. Jim Redding. So I will just kind of talk a little bit about this award. So this is really nice because this award was created by the Licking County Foundation in 1993 to promote excellence in public education and to honor exemplary teachers in our county. Since then, 420 Licking County teachers have been recognized as Leaders for Learning. The goal of this program are to identify and recognize teachers who exemplify excellence in teaching, providing opportunities for teachers to participate in professional growth activities and to support their classroom activities. This year, the award winner was selected by GHS Principal Scott Hinton, is GHS Environmental Science teacher Jim Redding. In his selection statement, Mr. Hinton said that Mr. Redding exemplifies dedication and commitment to the betterment of all of his students. His tireless efforts to ensure that each student receives support and encouragement they need to succeed academically and personally. His leadership has been instrumental in guiding students through impactful Take Action projects, notably the innovative initiatives such as Goats in the Land Lab and the introduction of an aerobic digester in the cafeteria. These projects provide hands-on learning experiences and promote sustainability and environmental stewardship among its students. So the board is aware, but the rest of the community might not be aware, that this weekend we hosted a student power summit. We had 260 educators from around the country and world that came to Granville and experienced the land lab on Saturday, and then we had a conference at Cherry Valley with many of our teachers and students presenting, many of the students of which are in Mr. Redding's classroom. Jim did a phenomenal tour of the land lab. He also, his students presented, and then on Monday, those educators were in our buildings interacting with our students. And the quality of our students' presentations and interactions, people continue to send me emails the rest of this week that they were so impressed. And Jim is just one of many educators that we have in our school district that really take the level of education to new heights. And Jim is highly recognizable because he's always out there walking in the land lab. But I think it also means a lot to him to receive these awards. Clearly, he's here. And I can give him a hard time about that because he, quite honestly, is probably in the land lab and looking at his clock and going, oops, missed that one.
But
So-
very typically for Jim as well, I think he would claim it's all about the students.
Yes.
And at the Student Power Summit, where there was an entire session dedicated to his course and things like that,
Yeah.
he wasn't even the presenter. It was
Correct.
his students, right? And I think that just like, although it's his students out there, you know, doing all the presenting, that only happens with great leadership. So I think in terms of being a leader for learning, Jim certainly is deserving. So.
Well, and what was really cool about the experience on Saturday was Dustin Braden was one of his students 2 years into the land lab, was responsible for phase 3, if you remember, and he is now a college professor at Ohio Wesleyan in environmental science and was also out at the land lab teaching his students and interacting with the people from around the country. So really cool stuff. But anyway, thank you. I will make sure he gets his pin.
He probably doesn't have
Oh.
enough for that.
Board policy update. Yes, I can. I have what I need. Okay. So, we have a ton of board policy updates for you as a first reading. Yeah. Oh, they do. I saw it out of the corner of my eye. So if you, this was, the last year's General Assembly was one of the least productive in many years. This one is set out to be one of the most productive. So we have several bills that have passed. House Bill 8, which was parents' rights and religious release time. House Bill 104, which was single-sex bathrooms. House Bill 432, which was monitoring student devices. House Bill 257, which was around board meetings being held virtually or board committee meetings. House Bill 206 was around student expulsions. There was over-the-counter medications, seizure medications, College Credit Plus procedural changes, and Senate Bill 208, which was related to military children being allowed to, of active duty members being able to open enroll into any school district, even if you don't have open enrollment. So there was a laundry list of bills passed. So the list is long, the policies are deep, but I'm just going to run through these really quickly because several of them I've already referenced, and I'll just point them out. So board committee and school board meetings are related to the virtual aspect. Administration of federal grants, inventories, and purchasing procedures are Brittany's wheelhouse.
Yeah, the biggest change there is that they're moving up the threshold from 5,000 to 10,000 on capital for federal purposes. And some minor changes on the purchasing procedures, and others are just like tiny language tweaks.
Is there anything substantial in the virtual meeting?
No, and for the most part,
Ways it clarifies.
it's not related to boards of education.
Oh.
So, but there are some elements to board committees, but you don't really have board committees as much as I have superintendent committees. And it doesn't really apply because we don't openly solicit those. So, yeah, it really is eliminating some of that permissive language. Okay? Online computer services, that is really also tying up some loose ends related to Senate Bill 29, which was data privacy and monitoring student devices. Staff and student relations is about parents' Bill of Rights. Family life education, sex education is also about parental rights and eliminating some of the things that we are allowed to discuss. And
Is it more about notification of
It is.
content, or is it more about content
it's both.
control?
It's both. So mostly it's about parental notification because it is about their ability to exercise another board policy, which is their ability to opt out of certain aspects that if a parent doesn't believe they want their child to participate in, they have the ability to opt out. You
Are
can
there like specific language restrictions and parts of that that would impact something that we've been doing?
Not really.
Yeah.
I mean, for the most part, we have always taken that approach to sex education. We're very transparent. We send out all the curriculum materials. You know, we still teach all the things that we have previously taught. It's just more
Changing that.
more procedural. You want to keep going? Okay, programs for students with disabilities, that's related to the model policies and procedures that we discussed at the last meeting. College Credit Plus and all the other College Credit Plus items are more related to procedural changes and different dates for different organizations to meet those requirements. A guidance program is also related to College Credit Plus, admission of non-resident students, that is, and inter-district open enrollment is also related to military children. Remember, things are listed multiple places, so it seems duplicative, it is. Health services requirements, so that's also a parent notification piece. If a student discusses something that has to do with their gender identity, we have to report that to parents immediately. Physical examination of students, non-administration of medicines, prescription medicines, all are related to procedures for notification for over-the-counter and specifically changes to seizure medications. Student safety and reporting child abuse training are more language-oriented, nothing significant. And then staff and student relationships, public right to know, are all parent right oriented. So more detail in the second reading. We just got these, so we're pouring through them. I just wanted to get it on your radar as a first reading.
Do some of them have implications maybe for the high school, what's the
Handbook.
high school handbook?
Yeah.
Right, that we need to notify kids as well.
Right.
Right, because it's just some changes there that have implications on their relationship with their teachers, or things that the teachers must reveal and so forth that might be worthy to.
The one thing that I didn't highlight is the student expulsion piece, which is now gives me the ability to expel a student not just 90 days, but 180 days. And if the student does not demonstrate rehabilitation, I can extend that for another 90 days. Not necessarily an issue that we have to deal with on a regular basis, but it is something that is a dramatic change as far as my latitude to maintain a safe environment for students in schools. Okay?
Thank you.
I'll introduce Gwen, who is going to talk about student wellness and success.
What, for AP
play catch-up. For those who don't know me, I'm Gwen Spence, I'm the Director of Student Services for the district. And part of my role is to look over the students' well-being and manage some pieces of legislation that pertain to student wellness. And so just to kind of connect you with both our portrait of a graduate and our learning foundations. Obviously, student wellness and student well-being oversees all of that, encompasses all of those things. You have one more slide for me, Brittany. One more. So we have had student wellness and success funds for a few years now. Last year I came to you at this time and laid out a 5-year plan. So I'm just going to kind of go over a 1-year recap of where we are in year 1, remind you what the next 4 years look like. These dollars are set aside through the state funding formula that we receive, and we are able to use them, whether it's mental health services, physical services, whatever we think that we need for our students. We do tend to support the mental health side of things with most of our dollars this year. But as you can see, there's a long list of things that we can do. If we do have students who have homeless needs or things like that, these are dollars that we can tap into as well. If we need them for programming. One of the things that we did this year was the Triple P parenting program. We did 3 sessions this year and used some of the funds to help support that as well. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. So we have to be kind of in partnership with people when we're doing this. So it's collectively with our private providers that are in town, Licking County Board of DD, the, oh my goodness, Adams Group. Just went
Mental
over my
health
head.
and recovery.
Yeah, thank you, just went totally out of my head. With that group, and then any of our private providers and our, and then obviously our school district, our school counselors and our school psychologists and things like that that help support that. As you may recall, many years ago, we did do some work on our student well-being. We did some task force work on that and kind of developed some pieces that we wanted to make sure we were always looking at, which are school conditions, our school, the social media piece, the parenting piece, behavioral health, and then our prevention and suicide policies, all which have been updated, programming, things like that have all continued to come. So in year 23-24, which was the first year of this particular plan, we had, we were on our journey already for our positive behavior interventions, supports and systems, so our PBIS work. We have completed all of that training that we wanted to get done in year 1, and that is rolled out in all of the buildings. We did hold our community forum at the beginning of last school year, if you'll remember that as well. And then our school counseling program, our counselors have taken about 2 years to really go through their overall school counseling program to look at what the needs of our kids are, the needs of our programming, how do we blend that in with our social, emotional well-being pieces and things like that. So they are wrapping up that plan, and we will present that to the board coming up in the near future. We've also been working to implement our multiple tiers of systems and supports, our MTSS, which is our shorthand for that. We have a district committee that is the 4 assistant principals and myself, and then they are in charge of that whole referral process for kids who may have behavioral or academic needs within the building. We have a succinct process in each building, common language that we're using, and that has been moving forward. Last year was our first year with us, so we're in implementation this year. It's been great. And then we have obviously had a number of self-determined learning activities for our kids, and those have continued to grow and grow exponentially, which is great. So year 2, the year that we're in right now, we're continuing to look at our homework practices. One of the things you'll hear come out of a lot of our mouths is we want to inspire, not require homework. We want to inspire kids to be curious about things after school. We don't want to say you have to go home and do 50 math problems and write 50 pages and read this much. We want you to be curious about what you would like to learn about, what homework might look like in that way. Our 5th graders did do some strength finder work. I have not actually heard how that has gone, so I'm going to be curious to be able to report that back to you guys, to kind of get a little more information on how that's gone. We have implemented our PBIS Tier 2 and Tier 3 trainings for the district-wide committee. Those are very specific things that happen in each tier as we're helping students out from a behavioral or an academic way. And then obviously we're continuing to implement our MTSS process. And then the final thing is the Triple P, the training that we did that Mr. Morris headed up for families that was held at the middle school. We had over 30 families attend 3 different events. We offered childcare, food, and had high school students come in and help support with the childcare so that we could, parents could kind of be free for a little while to listen to some of the Triple Ps, pieces of that. And just a quick reminder, year 3, we're going to continue to look at our PBIS and MTSS work, and then obviously continue to to look at our school's conditions and structures that align with our professional learning momentum. And then year 4 and 5 really is those refinement years of where are we at with things. And then as you would imagine in year 5, we'll start that process to evaluate where do we need to go, what are our needs, what are our needs assessments say that we really need to be able to do going forward from that. I am not aware specifically of any changes to the student wellness funding in the governor's budget plan at this time, so I just anticipate that that will continue to be available to us. I am happy to report that just this week we secured a new mental health specialist for the district who will be starting with us after spring break for 2 days a week for the remainder of this year, and then full-time going into next year. We are somewhat stealing this person from another district, so they need to finish out some work with that district, and so we will start by making sure that that person gets integrated into our processes and starts to get to know our high school staff first. And then as she comes on full-time into the fall, we'll be able to kind of build that a little bit more. So the final thing I want to share with you guys, if you could go to, is to put a plug-in for the next Triple P piece that we're doing for healthy screen time habits for kids. Mr. Morris, again, is teaming this up. On April 29th at 6 o'clock, there'll be toddlers to elementary age school kids and building healthy screen habits. And that's at the middle school project center. And then the middle school, high school parent one will be May 6th at 6 p.m. And again, we are providing food and childcare for that. And if you're interested in that, please just register and you'll find that information on our website as well. Any questions overall about our student wellness plan?
We have a new employee that will be taking over a previously role that was sort of vacated that we outsourced a bit, is that right? You're talking about
Yes, it's a contracted service that we outsource, yeah. So we had a contract with Ohio Guidestone
Right.
last year, and then they have been unable to find somebody for our position, so we work with Concord Counseling out of Westerville, and they have been able to
Great.
secure somebody for us, so.
And so in this year, they'll be at the high school or in the district a couple days a week, and then next year full-time?
Yep.
Right.
Okay, fantastic. And they'll be a district employee instead of.
No, it's still
It's
contract.
the same way outsourced.
Yep, still a contract employee.
Through Guidestone?
No, this one was through Concord Counseling out of Westerville.
Okay.
All right. But serving a similar function as an interface to other
Yes.
professionals and identifying needs as need be and so forth.
Yep, 100%.
Excellent.
Any other questions?
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Okay, we have the International Award-winning monthly financial report.
I love that introduction.
I was gonna say, my presentation better work tonight. I present great for everybody else. Okay, here we go. Okay. First, we are going to start with the cash balance. Cash is up $2 million over where we were last February. And if you remember, January was our low point for the year, so we're starting to build that cash back up with our property tax payments as those come in over the next 2 months. So really the biggest highlight for February are those property tax advance payments. And those vary based on how much comes in February versus March. So we do have a little bit of a timing difference between last year and this year, but that will get caught up by the time we get the settlement, which should be in March. State and all other revenue are very much in alignment with last February, as we would expect. Year to date, we're going to continue to see that local tax revenue being up. That's a combination of, it's actually up over prior year with the slight increase in the income tax and property tax from the fall settlement, and then the timing issue that I just talked about. And then the other two line items are in alignment with prior year. On the expenditure side, very similar to last month. Salary and benefits are up over prior year. That's, again, steps, base increases, insurance increases. Those are all typical that we see every month. And then purchase service and all other expenses are actually down over prior year. So that's a good thing. And all that is in alignment with the forecast. When we look at our year-to-date and adjust for the capital projects transfer that I talk about every month, Expenditures are up over prior year 1.4 million. And that's largely staffing, purchase service with the special education contracted services we've talked about, and then all of their expenditures with the capital projects transfers. We may have one other transfer coming this year that will, you'll see come through depending on the need, but otherwise we should be finished with that. Just a small update, we did have one small payment on the air handler project at the high school, but that is scheduled to be done over the summer, so we won't see much change in that until summer. And then our cash reconciliation, and no comments there, unless there's any questions.
Thank you.
Easy month.
Okay, we're at the point of the meeting for public comments. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and not to be considered a public community meeting. There's a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Is there anyone that would like to comment? Okay, seeing none, board discussion.
Okay, so I put facility master planning just to give you an update of, since our last board meeting, we've had our community event to establish the priorities of the facility master planning process, which then we took those priorities, and on Tuesday we met as the facility task force, facility master planning task force, and are developing options for, how the school district will grow in the future. And then from there, we'll have one more meeting of the task force to clean up those options, apply potential cost structures to them, and then take them to the community at the third community event, which is April 15th. And at that meeting, we'll display a couple of options and give people the ability to pro and con some of the options, and collect all that feedback for your review, probably in June. What I envision happening is, again, we've said this plan from the beginning, we're planning, not building, and this plan is written in pencil, not pen. We'll have to adjust as things evolve related to housing and development in the area. But what I'm envisioning is a plan that has a couple of different options, but also a clear message about how we'll grow in between any facility that is built. So it was a very productive meeting on Tuesday. What's interesting is there's a lot of commonality in some of the plans and options that groups worked on, so pulling those together is going to be an opportunity to then share them with the rest of the community. So April 15th, their community event.
Is that April 15th?
It is April 15th.
Just wanted to make sure.
Yes. And that's it from my vantage point.
There's a lot of good data that came out of the community meeting and was, hashed through by the committee. And there's a lot of different perspectives from different community members and things like that. So I think it's, great that we can have a couple options to put out there. And I think, like you said, not decide now exactly what we're going to do, but come up with those pros and cons so that as the community evolves, right, we've already got those things done to some extent, right? To refer back to that. So
It's shelf ready.
yeah, exactly.
And I think it shows we continue to try, if it's possible, to stay ahead of the curve,
Yeah.
so that the district and the board are as prepared as we can be with what's coming down the pike. I think that's really important. And I'm sure it won't be the last time we're going to have community engagement
That is,
about this. So.
that is absolutely true.
I had a general question about the budget stuff. I'm not sure if there's been any updates about the guarantee and the potential elimination of the guarantee. I thought that would be one that would be jumped on by the Alliance and so forth. I don't know if there are
Yeah.
updates there, or if that takes a while, or where that stands.
Well, right now they're in the testimony phase. So the Alliance Executive Director, Tony Potajol, and Will Schwartz, the lobbyist, they presented at testimony and provided testimony. Also, Michael Hanlon and Ryan Pendleton from the Fair School Funding Work Group also provided testimony, as well as a lot of other school district superintendents that talked on those issues, including the guarantee being one of those issues. So, yeah.
Because that's a big one for us, and I don't know if we need to provide more input as board members or other ways. I trust the Alliance has got this.
Well, and the strategy is for people to talk to their local legislators. So we talked with our House and Senate representatives here locally to make sure that they understood what that impact was for Granville schools. So the next step is for the House to deliver their budget plan. That will be relatively short.
I think it's like the first week of April.
Yeah, I think it's like, and then they'll bump it to the Senate, and then the Senate will go back to the House, and then it will go to conference committee.
And so we could expect that the first version of what the House proposes might have a different language around the guarantee?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, great.
I just was trying to figure out timing and, again, how that all plays out.
Yep.
Okay. I want to just mention a little bit in the board discussion, also about the Student Power Summit, right? I had a chance to attend, and it was just fantastic, right? I mean, the kinds of things that were being talked about there by the national experts are the kinds of things that we, have at our core here in Granville, and the feedback that I received from talking to a number of, students from other districts, staff from other districts, administration, and these kind of national leaders was just spectacular. Our administration and the staff that presented there did a fantastic job. And just as impressively, or probably more so, is the students that presented, hand in hand, and, had the same kind of language, right? And when as a leadership team, you're trying to change a culture and instill different language and things like that, when you hear that coming back from staff and from the students themselves, right, it just feels great to know that we're really moving in a positive direction. People were almost shocked at how much impressed they were with what Granville's doing. I don't have to tell you guys this because we know, but I feel like we need every occasion we can get to celebrate it as a community, how great we're doing in our schools. So,
Specifically, representatives from the Ohio Department of Education and Workforce were very impressed.
it was great. I had a chance
It was nice to have them there.
I took a minute to talk to Steve Dakin, the head of the Department of Education and Workforce and so forth, and I just thanked him for participating, and he said he's a huge fan. Right, he said he's really a big supporter of the kind of work that we're doing and so forth, so that gives me a lot of confidence, right, that some folks can hear and understand some of the positive things that are going on. So there were so many good sessions there, it was really a good conference. Good. Yeah.
I think that's quite an honor that we got to host it, and that I'm excited to hear we did such a great job.
Mm-hmm.
Putting Granville forward, our teachers and our students. It just, not that we need confirmation, but it's just another way we get to see the success of the students and our administration. And it makes me feel great that I'm on the board.
Yeah.
That's what I want to
Okay.
do. Yeah, exactly. And I think another plug for April 15th. I know I'm being a little bit silly about it, but I got to watch Jeff Brown in action at the last community meeting and sort of watching him facilitate that, and then get to watch him as well as other administrators and teachers do facilitation and explanation and education at the Power Summit. That was really cool. So if you come on April 15th, you get a little bit taste of that. It's not really a Power Summit, but
And I will tell you, we kicked it off the right way with our
that was
band.
incredible.
Our band.
At what, 11 o'clock on
At
Sunday
11 o'clock,
morning,
I told the
inside?
Cherry Valley
Yeah.
staff, like, we're about to rock the house, you know that, right? If people are asleep, they're gonna wake up here soon, shortly. It was absolutely amazing, and, just cool, very cool. Very proud moment as a representative of the school district, as a resident, as a dad, just awesome.
Yeah.
So, great job there.
Yeah, thank you.
On board discussion, I just wanted to add, as a CTEC rep, there was a very positive article about the new superintendent, Michelle Snow the other day in The Advocate. I think she's going to do a great job. I know Mr. Brown is, Michelle, part of her first 90 days is trying to reach out to all the district schools that participate with CTEC, and they had a real positive meeting.
Excellent meeting.
And I think it's just more exciting times with CTEC coming down the road. I think Michelle's going to do a great job in that leadership position.
And I think you were elected to a position as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm president of that school.
Nice.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yes, we're changing from Pop to Mr. President. Just kidding, just kidding. Anything else for discussion?
Yeah, I'll just mention real quick, on the consent agenda is the GEF grants for this award cycle. So sitting and being a representative on that board, it was great to hear a lot of the proposals. And to further plug even our students is a lot of our teachers have students help write these grants for things that they want to learn. So I'm proud as we get later into the agenda to vote positive in that favor. So.
Does GEF have a separate mechanism for student grants, or do they go through the same cycle?
Same
or-
channels. Yep,
Yeah.
same cycle.
Yeah. And I know the district has stepped up in cases when there's a project or something that needs support as well, with direct, shorter-term support.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, Mr. Reddick.
he's not afraid to ask. Is he?
No.
Right.
And the students always do a remarkable job when they have an idea.
Yeah.
Okay, action agenda?
Okay, action item 10.01 is the approval of GHS course description book for 25-26.
So moved.
Second. And we have a lot of changes that are related to CCP math, human anatomy, world humanities, work study, hybrid courses. So, you know, they're really trying to evolve the course description book to align with some of the work that we're doing and achieving through SDL and workforce connection.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Thank you. 10.02 is the approval of the school age childcare contract. It really is authorizing me to enter into the contract with Love and Learning.
So moved. Second.
How does the cost of that contract relate to the expenses, or the fees that were charged to parents and things like that? Is that?
So we just look at inflationary adjustments every single year. Their cost structure is theirs to manage. We don't dictate that for Love and Learning. And then we charge just kind of a facility fee for them to be housed in our schools.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
10.03 is the approval of agreement with VAT for transportation services for the 25-26 school year.
So moved. Second.
Nothing to add.
What is VAT?
It's for special education students.
Oh.
For transportation.
Transportation.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
10.04 is the approval of the BCAC joint statement for the Licking Region ESC Business Community and Advisory Council.
So moved.
Second.
So this is, we're required by law to align or host our own business advisory. So the ESC provides that function in connection with CTEC, because CTEC has a lot of business advisories for their programs. So it's just our joint statement.
Take the roll, please.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw? Aye. Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Okay, our consent agenda is 11.01A through D.
So moved. Second.
Okay, as Mr. Cronk alluded to, the donation of the GEF grants in the amount of $13,370 for a variety of different projects. Some of those are student-related and student-generated, which is fantastic. Very excited about that. You'll see a lot of science, engineering, and mathematics incorporated in those grants. We have several supplemental contracts. I'd like to call your attention to 2 resignations with some appreciation of service, Tina Swift and Amy Petrick. Tina has been in multiple roles within the school district for her year and tenure, and she is retiring and resigning, and Amy Petrick has been our clinic nurse for as long as I've been here, and we will definitely miss her. So we will accept those resignations for the purpose of retirement with appreciation. And then we also have a couple of master teacher renewals, Kristen Snyder, Emily Goings, and Evie Smith.
What's the trip chaperone?
So the trip chaperone, we did not have a chaperone that could go up to Bluffton for the girls' basketball game, so we paid a person to attend that on our behalf. And then the field trips are, we actually approved the marching band last, but the dates changed, so we adjusted the dates. And then GHS baseball to Steubenville for 2 games.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds? Aye. Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye.
Item 12.01 is approval of the February 2025 financial report.
So moved.
Second?
Any additional questions or comments?
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Take the roll, please.
Ms. Deeds?
Aye.
Ms. Shaw?
Aye.
Mr. Cronk?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
Mr. Wolf?
Aye. Thanks, everyone.